Yeah, I still suck at making latte art. So Coffee Talk Episode 2 is a sequel to the 2020 game Coffee Talk by Toge Productions. That was a game that I enjoyed playing through because of its chill vibes and character interactions. So when Episode 2 was announced, I was really excited for it to come out. Coffee Talk Episode 2 is just like the first game. It's set in an alternate version of Seattle, except it takes place a few years later. You play as a barista who runs the same coffee shop that opens only at night. And just like Coffee Talk 1, you'll be encountering all kinds of customers, from humans to fantasy races like a satyr, succubus, and a catgirl. Every night you'll get both new and old customers, so you'll be making drinks and listening to their stories while catching up with the regulars. The whole game plays like a visual novel, except you'll have to stop to make drinks every now and then. You'll be selecting ingredients from your coffee shop's shelves in order to brew coffee, and tea, among other things. Yeah, you can serve a lot of different drinks, with the new ingredients in the series being blue pea and hibiscus. Sometimes customers will tell you exactly what they want, but other times you'll need to figure it out. So mixing and matching the ingredients can get a bit tricky. There's a recipe app on your in-game phone called the Brewpad, but it only has very basic recipes in it. You'll have to discover the rest by experimenting with all the different stuff on your shelves. As soon as you brew a drink with the right recipe, it'll instantly get registered in the app. Now, serving the drinks to the customers is a reward itself, unless you screw up their order. There's a chance that some customers might not come back if you keep doing that, which is very understandable. It can affect the characters in other ways too. Like, there's this new mechanic in the game where customers can give you items to give to someone else. So it'll be stored in your coffee shop's drawer until you encounter the right person to give it to. Giving them that item while serving a drink has an effect on their story arc, so it'll put you on the right track if you get them right. Personally, I forgot to give a few of them later on, which definitely affected the outcome of some of their arcs. Still, I was kind of happy with how my first playthrough ended, so it wasn't all that bad. As for Coffee Talk 2's ambience, one of my favorite things about the first game was its music and atmosphere. Episode 2 has all of that. I've always loved cafes in real life, so I drank an iced coffee and a couple of hot cups while I played through this. It's just as cozy to play through with its gorgeous pixel art, lo-fi music, and rainy night cafe vibes. I was always excited to start a new day too in the game, because checking my in-game phone became a routine. I loved reading the thoughtful daily entries in the Evening Whispers app, and checking out everyone's profiles and stories on the Tomodachi app. I don't even know if liking their posts did anything, but I gotta show my support, right? Now, as much as I like how comfy Episode 2 is, it wouldn't be as nice to play through if it wasn't for the game's characters. I think I loved listening to both the new and old customers equally. Like, sure, it was nice meeting new characters and getting to know them, but it was also great seeing how the old ones were doing after the events of the first game. Seeing different customers form relationships and become genuine friends was a treat too. Just like the first entry, this game also does a wonderful job of taking its fantasy race characters and making them both believable and relatable. Every character has something they're going through, like Georgie's jobs and his issues with parenthood, Hyde's thoughts on immortality as well as his life beyond his current situation, and Riona's plan to become a soprano despite facing prejudice as a banshee. Even though the game never shows you what's happening outside of the coffee shop, you learn so much about their world through each customer. There was actually a new major theme in the game that I thought was really interesting, mostly because it's a very relevant topic in today's world. Social media and just the internet in general. It was really interesting how the game delved into the characters' thoughts on how so much of the world has changed because of those two. Things like the difficulties of dating and just forming connections in general are discussed, along with just how fast-paced things can be, to the point of even fashion and trends becoming quickly forgotten like 10 minutes after they're posted. There's even talk on the exploitation of young influencers who want to make it big, but despite some of the negative sides to all of that, the characters in the game still manage to make their way and even benefit from them. It was very rewarding to see how the characters developed the more I played through the story. So yeah, I thought that the writing in Coffee Talk 2 was great overall. It was both thoughtful and at times heartwarming. Overall, I spent close to 9 hours playing the game. I admit that I spent a little bit of that time reloading my save file whenever I messed up a character's order. But I spent most of my playtime playing the game's endless mode to discover more recipes, and challenge mode just to see how many customers I can serve in a minute. But yeah, I don't really have complaints about the game, other than maybe Georgie's story later on. At first, I was interested in the case he was talking about, but the more he brought it up, the more I found myself to be really bored. Still, it's just a small part of the game. I enjoyed most of my playthrough, and a lot of the characters' story arcs. So yeah, I highly recommend Coffee Talk Episode 2 if you want a comfy game where you can brew drinks, listen to stories, and make a difference in the characters' lives. The game will be out on April 20 in practically every platform, like on PlayStation, the Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and Xbox Game Pass. Let me know what you thought about the video, and thank you to my patrons at Patreon for supporting my channel. Oh yeah, if you haven't played Coffee Talk 1, I highly recommend it too. I'd say it's best to play that first if ever, just so you can enjoy this one more since it has recurring characters. I'll actually replay this soon, just because I didn't get the best endings for certain characters, and that's really gonna bother me because I like this game a lot. But yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.